Being a nomad get boring? Well, first I want to say everything in life gets boring. I mean, I think I've heard the statistic get thrown around that after 3 months of doing anything, it gets boring. Human nature is we get tired of stuff. We get tired of relationships. We want something new and different. We get tired of the food, whether it's good food or whether it's bad food. If you eat, I used to eat junk food all the time. I used to get tired of Chinese food. I used to get tired of fried chicken. I mean, it's great food. I mean, what can be more exciting than fried chicken? Oh, but if you eat it a couple weeks in a row, you get tired of it. Same thing with healthy food. You eat that for a while and it gets boring and you get tired of it. Then you want to, have junk food again. So I want to spread light and I want us to be mindful as we grow that you need to know anything you do in life will get boring. And again, it's those who chase a constant high rather than constant growth. If you chase a high and not growth, then you're going to go in the wrong direction. And all you will do is go from one mistake to another, to another, to another. Now, I want to be clear, even if you try to grow, you're going to make mistakes. So, I don't want you to feel bad about that. But what I am sharing is everything gets boring, including being a nomad, including being able to get up and go wherever you want, whenever you want, with minimal bills. That being said, I'm still having a great time. I am having a great time. It's been 9 months now as I go on to my 9th month. And for me personally, I am very encouraged, very excited as far as living in my car, being a full-time nomad. That being said, I can say that just like I can say, because I lost 200 pounds and I've kept it off for, 3 years. I can say that because I can still acknowledge the principle that eating healthy gets boring. Living in your car could get boring. Anything could get boring. It is a matter of disciplining the mind when moments of boredom come and focusing on your long-term vision for your life. Now, the long-term vision for my life and one of my key goals is to be healthy and to be the best me and to be in shape and not perfect. And, some people, I have a certain body type, I'll always be a certain. So to me, that vision keeps me inspired even when I get bored eating junk food. And once in a while I backslide, but for the most part, I keep that vision in my mind of me being the healthiest me, the best me. Same thing with being a nomad. I mean, I haven't really gone through any extreme boredom as far as living in my car, but there's always waves of boredom, all right, because we're human. So, but I keep busy throughout the day. I keep focused on my long-term vision for my life, which is being, traveling with the weather and having flexibility and having minimal bills. So I just want to shed light on that because, I see people all the time, they'll get rid of all their stuff to live a minimalistic life, and then slowly they'll start to accumulate more shit. Because in the beginning, minimalism can get exciting. Like, oh, it's going to be so exciting to throw everything out and to live a simplified life. And then people get simplified life, they're adding this thing, they're adding that thing, and then before you know it, they get right back to, and then they start the cycle all over again. Now, to some of us, including me, that's all human nature. You got to kind of weed out, and you got to kind of refine the vision. But the conversation needs to be had that life can get boring. If you're in a relationship, even if it's a good, healthy, solid relationship, it can get boring at times. Now, if it's a constant state of just pure boredom, then it may be time, you have to decide it may be time to leave that relationship. But what I'm trying to say is I definitely know that there's wisdom in not just uprooting a situation because it gets because there's a moment of boredom. At night, at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, there's going to be a moment of hunger where you want to call up, Tony's Pizzeria and tell them come deliver a large mushroom pie because you're bored. You're bored and you're hungry. And in the middle of the night, at 10 o'clock at night, you're going to look at your phone. You're going to want to text somebody, not because you really care about them, but because you're bored and you want to see your notification thing go off. Boredom, and I've said this before, but boredom is trouble. And everything, including being a nomad, including if you sell everything, you have no bills, you live out of your car, and you travel with the weather, that will get boring. If you don't believe me, look at other YouTube channels of people that do it full time. Not to judge them, but to observe. Because if you're studying me, if you're studying other YouTube channels, you should be doing it Not to fully listen to me, not to fully listen to others, but to learn so you can have the best quality of life for you. And I'm telling you, even popular YouTube channels that live full-time nomad, I see them struggling with what to do next with their life, what place to go next, what to explore next. Because, a lot of them, they may have already done it all and they get a little bit bored. And some of that is okay. Because again, everything in life has a season. So there will be a season for you to do something, and then you exhausted it, and then it's time to do something else. So it is a balance of thought. I am not making a blanket statement that you should this is what you do. I am adding perspective, and I am shedding light on the conversation of boredom and how even being a nomad gets boring, because a lot of people get into the lifestyle because of excitement. But the same thing with health. A lot of people start eating healthy because they think, they get tired of eating crappy, and they say, they have this vision of them going to the gym every day, eating healthy. They go to the supermarket, they see like the green, the green vegetable shake, and they think, I'll drink that every day, and I'll be, and then at nighttime they're eating fries, and in the morning they'll eat the green shake again, and they'll go back on like this cleanse. It's okay to be bored. There's waves of boredom. There's waves of grief in life. You have to let that wave pass. Just like when you're surfing, you don't catch every wave. You have to try to catch the waves and make your best judgment possible that you can ride, with the understanding we still crashed. There's still going to be mistakes. There's still going to be, stuff that happens that I understand that. So I don't want you to judge yourself or judge others. But I just want to have this conversation. Overall, my testimony is 9 months. I love it. But I love being a nomad because, again, it's something I'm choosing. And it was always, as the years had passed, this was part of something in my vision and in my spirit of living a simplified life. It has evolved. But if it's something so strong in your spirit, you'll gravitate towards it because it's in your being and it's part of your destiny. That's what that means. But if you're kind of, getting kind of sold on it because it may not be a full vision, but other people try to make it seem exciting, or they try to say, buy this thing, it may change my life. It's like this computerized thing, it'll change your life. And then they get it and they don't like it, and then, you're stuck with the bag. Don't let people oversell you on their life. You know what I mean? And know that everything gets boring, but know that the things, if being a nomad is in your spirit, you'll push past any moment of boredom, because everything gets boring. Living in a mansion gets boring. If being healthy is for you, you'll still fail, but you will push forward. If that's part of your vision for your life, you'll push forward towards it. If, relationships, anything. Again, long-term boredom, there may be a problem, but I just want to share that because sometimes I do get that question, does being a nomad get boring? For me, the answer is no. You know what I mean? But I'm always a realistic person to the aspect of, so there's always going to be moments of I'm a little bit bored, or I'm a little bit this and that. But you have to understand, that's human nature. You let some of that. You have to know you. I'm not pass. And that's why people just end up in fucking relationships that go nowhere. Because they got bored being alone, or they got bored being with somebody else, so they just decided to get in a relationship because they got a little lonely. Look, everything has a little bit of badness, a little bit of, you get a little lonely, you get a little bored, you get a little hungry. You got to let some of that pass. You understand what I'm saying? Because again, you don't want to live a lifestyle where you're just chasing a constant high. That's dangerous. That's how you end up from, upgrading, travel trailers every 2 months, upgrading cars every 2 months, moving your house every 3 months, and changing relationships every 3 months. You'll just chase something that isn't existing. And usually, and I'll close on this, usually that is a sign that your foundation is not solid, your mind, body, and soul. What you base your life on, your principles, your ideas, and it has to start there. I always say, when I really started my journey on self-growth in my 20s, it was all, I started spiritually. It's not the end all be all. And again, if you don't believe in anything, you have to do you. But for me, I have to share my testimony. And a healthy spiritual being starts your life with an alignment of principles and beliefs. And it keeps an inner compass in your being that will not just point towards boredom. It will point towards an overall purpose for your life. And that purpose can still be exciting. It can still be magical. And it doesn't have to be, be a pastor or be evangelist, or, it could just, whatever it is for you. But I have to share, that's what started. Then, you know, it was like after I built my spiritual, then it was like refining my career. Then it was refining my physical well-being. And then now, as I get in the middle to stages of my life, it's about mental, you know, refining mental well-being. Because you have to be careful that your thoughts, you know, really don't, you know, direct your life. I mean, again, if stuff really got bad for any of us, we could all just throw our hands up. So I don't want to start to preach a prideful message here, right? Because when things are going good, it's a little bit easy to make a YouTube video and tell you about this and that. But this is a good conversation. And everything gets boring, but for the things that are a purpose in your life, you'll get a constant itch in your spirit that you have to keep going forward. That this is for you. This nomad lifestyle is for me. This job in a different state, it's for me. I can see it's a vision. Starting this business is for me. You know what I mean? Being in this relationship is for me. Or it isn't for me. You know, change, adapting, growing. You know, this is part of life. And I just want to make that message. I don't want people chasing a constant high. And everything gets boring, but for what is meant to be and what is in your spirit, you will push past that. All right? Stay inspired.